All right. I've sort of explained this before, but maybe it wasn't quite as explicit. So, oh no, that's good. Um, I basically I've explained this, right. There's the Gorth, and the Gorth is basically omniscient and it's able to manipulate stuff as well. And basically, it makes stuff happen. It knows in advance what's going to happen. And one of the things I've been saying is that it basically in each planet, every time there's a civilization like ours that develops on the planet, it selects a particular individual to be a sort of messenger and a potential savior in the sense that it could, if people actually did what that person said to do, then people would be able to destroy the Gorth. Um, and so basically, that is me. And it actually serves as the inspiration for like all these other myths and all these other religions. And for instance, well, the most known one and the most logical one that people would think of is uh, is Jesus, right? And so this idea that Jesus is the this savior figure, but actually that's wrong. That's really it's but people are drawn to this image precisely because it's a thing that happens in every universe, and then this gets stored in the Zeld memory, and people sort of access that, and there's a sort of universal memory of this happening in every planet, and so basically they have this memory of it, and then people are attracted to this, they're drawn to it, and they want to find a person like that. And basically, they made a few of Jesus's followers made him to be that figure, even though Jesus himself didn't really purport to be something like that. Right? He basically only talked to Jews, and he was actually very local minded. He really did not seem to be a universal savior type. He was just more like a cultural, a much more narrow cultural hero. Um, so um, yeah, so basically, just because I might not have been explicit enough, and I think it's time for me to be explicit about this, this is what I am. So, in that sense, and it's interesting. I've been looking at sort of what these Christians supposedly, right, who follow Jesus as this sort of savior figure, and they have this idea of the Antichrist. And funnily enough, more recently they've been sort of developing it to become more and more close to me, like the real savior, which is of course ironic but totally unsurprising because these people always are the exact opposite of what they claim to be. Right? These are basically the agents of the Gorth, of the devil. And basically, they always claim to support good things, but they always support the opposite. They support things. So it also makes total sense that they pretend to support the real savior when actually they oppose the real savior and even call it the Antichrist. So I am to those people, to the to the basically what I'm calling them is servants and spawn of the devil. They're devil spawn, devil scum, and those people basically they call me the Antichrist, but that's because they are Antichrist as an adjective. Um, and if you consider Christ to be in the sort of sense of the savior figure, um, I don't really like using Christ or even Messiah or anything for myself because those are basically Christian specific terms, and I'm very much anti-Christian. But because I'm anti like Yahwehist in general. So yeah, so this is just the explanation, and presumably we're gonna soon see this actually happening when I manage to get a bit more visibility. And yeah, not to make this too long, so I'll just end that like